Oh, I should have checked the audio before I went live. It sometimes bugs. Let me just pull up the stream. Hopefully this did not bug, but today I want to talk about the season 10 news we got and kind of give a little bit of background to people and answer some questions potentially, because I saw a good amount of questions and think I have a pretty good understanding of what's going on. Let me just talk about something random, see if I can hear myself. Okay, perfect. It's not broken. Cool. So I'm probably going to be doing a good amount of season 10 prep on multiple characters. Season 10, I think because we know to some degree it will be time gated, we're going to be able to have multiple characters that we use. So I at least want to do like one East character, one West character primarily. And then we'll kind of work our way through that. What's up, cousin? You like the announcement, or was that not enough to... It was just too much of a tease. I felt like they kept it pretty light, but there's still a lot to be gained from it that can be talked about, so... I haven't looked at the Reddit recently, but that would be kind of an interesting thing, just to see how that's behaving. I didn't expect nothing more, to be honest, but it was enough to blow up the trophy market. Oh, I'm sure. Like, our lost trophies through the roof now. And I'm guessing the coatings are too. Yeah. Spiked. I mean, that's not super surprising. I need to actually make, like, a few character... Like, I need to start prepping, like, PvE sets for Season 10, too. These are really easy to craft and get them maxed, so it will drop very, very quickly. Oh, the cousin already put out a video about it? I figured some people put out videos, but they didn't really understand fully what's going on. Why is the Twitch chat not working? Let me reload this thing. Oh, now it's working. Hey, Rivian, what's up? First time in about a year back, I need a build. I mean, I think the primary thing early on is you're probably going to want a PvE build. People don't usually PvP to start out the expansions because it's usually easier to get gear from a PvE standpoint. But the thing is like, you're going to replace your gear very, very quickly whenever a season comes out. So, like, if I went in with this build, within the first, like, 30 minutes, I'd probably have an entirely new set, like, equipped. Like, I just wouldn't expect to have stuff on for a long period of time, except for your, like, artifacts. Like, Ankh will probably still be used, the wall will probably still be used. Like, all those I'd expect to still be seen. I gotta move over to Twitch. I've been looking through your tank builds since you're one of the top tanks I hear. It depends what list you're looking at. I play tank a lot, and then I play Flail a lot now. I haven't streamed the gameplay a ton because like the wars are pretty sparse at the moment. But I like I'm probably the only person that plays tank at like a top 3 player level and Flail at a top 3 player level, depending on who you talk to and what they value. But my style of tank is like very, very different now than it used to be. Like, I think for a long period of time, it was just focused on just like, I want to give my team as many stats as possible so that they can live. And it was like, oh, we need to run relentless, so we need to like figure out all these ways to like help people live more. Now it's a little bit more about point pressure, and when you start thinking about like point pressure, the topics of tank like evolve like significantly, and it's like it's weird because if you want more pressure on point, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be on point. It's you need to figure out a way to force the other team to make the decisions, and one way I try to do that now is I try to go into kill squad more. So that's one thing that I've kind of evolved with my style. It's like a little bit different. And then I've used a lot more knockback builds, so like Chaos I find to be very, very good as a tank, but it's not common to see tanks run Chaos. Because you can just save the knockback for when people crash, and when they crash on top of you, you can completely destroy their crash and they can't do anything. And then during all-ins, you can just knock people off the point, and it feels pretty easy to live with. But so tanks like evolved a good amount. I'd say Flail hasn't evolved as much. It's just like Relentless exists, you can run it. There's also a medium hat artifact that some people use on Flail. I think it's kind of bait to use it on Flail at the moment. I should have it on this character, but I'm not seeing it right now. Oh, there it is. Plague Herald. It's a strong artifact, but it's like it's very hard to use it if you're in melee, and it's not super insane if you run Invig, because it's like hard to keep the debuff on you that you need to proc one of the effects. So it's like, I don't think this is a great flail run, but a good amount of flails have used it. I'd rather have flails run Relentless personally, and then put this on a different class altogether. To be determined if all the changes in will come in with under a month with the big rework. Oh, you're talking about it getting delayed? I mean, like, it could get delayed, but I don't really care too much about that. I still have all these bananas, dude. I mean, there's a good amount of things to prep on. Like, I've been prepping by buying globs and stuff, and like vials of suspended Azoth, because I figure people have to re-gear and they'll have to like redo their consumes. I think I did like a video on that in terms of like what are safe buys. I've got coatings and stuff too, like just kind of random things, gems. But my goal for today is probably to make a PvE set on every single character. It's just like what I want to do in PvE is a little bit up to debate. I guess one thing that would be good for this character too is I don't think I have the Season 9 Greatsword yet, and I kind of want to get that because I think it's like good enough to run in PvE right now. Oh my god, why is that so loud? Oh, my audio settings like reset the other day randomly, and everything got messed up. UI volume, I'm turning that one down. But if you're coming back, I mean, it's a pretty safe time. And then if you've been playing the entire time, you're ahead. Right? I just need 2 more levels and I can get the Greatsword. So, expeditions. Arena match wins is a pretty easy one, but it's not enough. Activity cards is another easy one. I think I should be able to complete 1 activity card. Yeah, I put like 3 OPR since 725 gear score change. I mean, the main thing that happened recently is like artifacts were introduced. If you don't have artifacts, it's not like the end of the world, but they are like a pretty big power spike. So 3v3 looks like something that I should probably do, and then I can just complete this track if I do 1 3v3. I could show you guys my cursed 3v3 build that I've gone in with and had moderate success. That doesn't really make sense. It's basically just like normal flail, but like higher damage output. It works. Just drop the con a bit. It's like, it's fine. Don't really need much more. Or even it's 3v3. Like, I barely do 3v3, but... Oh, there's like a healer cube for 3v3 now? That's kind of nice. Last time I believe Oda was the flow artifact that dropped. Yeah, so you missed out on a really big artifact called Power Stone. This one has basically been mandatory for all flows to run because the effect is just super, super powerful. You run flail with IG or VG? I do VG when I'm solo and I do IG in wars. It's like VG has more carry potential than IG, but the problem with VG is it's like very easy to punish. So like, but in like 3v3, people play like really, really greedy builds all the time, so it doesn't really matter. So usually I go like 200 con, 350 focus, and I put the rest in strength. Like I don't worry about 200 or 300 con for this kind of environment. Turn the music up. I usually have it a little bit louder. IG is one of my favorite weapons. I like IG a lot. The thing is like IG is like has been so used for support for so long in larger scale conflicts that it's kind of gotten boring. But it's definitely more fun right now because Windchill's like actually a legitimately good skill on IG. And I don't think Windchill's ever been like a legitimately good skill until like maybe a month ago. So that's made IG like way more fun to use recently. Oh, I'm using the wrong heart rune. I could use Bile. Bile's... Nah, it's too late. I'm not, like, really doing a lot, but, like, I'm doing enough to create pressure to get that kill. Musket's such a funny class. It's like, it either carries or it does nothing, and there's not much between. Meanwhile, Flail. Flail VG is just, like, in a solo environment, it's just, like, a lockdown class. Like, you just can't play the game. I really wish that they would have put out some videos today explaining some of the things they said in the notes. Yeah, I can try to explain them a bit better, but that's the information we have to go off of, and it kind of just raises more questions, to be honest, because it's kind of confusing, but I can try to explain it to my best ability. Oh, I guess one of them did go back here. Yeah, we can just collapse on this guy. I don't know about the tank set. I have to, like, let somebody hit him before I can orb him, otherwise the slow won't apply. It shouldn't be too hard. Done. I've seen people comparing it to Path of Exile, which is, I guess, a good if I never played Path of Exile. It's very similar to Path of Exile. I think it's gonna be like, I don't think people are gonna switch perks as much as is like communicated with the charm slots, but the idea of it is what's important. That was kind of brutal. What I'm seeing, everyone runs the same 3 flow skills, Vortex, Trip, and I think it's Smite or something. Yeah. Barrage is the other one that's like somewhat viable in PvP. Trip is better for securing kills, and then Barrage is like an interrupt plus fortify. So like stat wise, Barrage is the better ability, but in terms of like securing kills, Trip is the better ability. So it's just like a preference. Meat Grinder, yeah, that was a brutal one. I always think it's funny because like people make like dedicated builds for like that kind of thing. Like I don't even have like an artifact on right now. It's like I just like up my focus, up my strength, drop my con. It's like build works fine. Like you don't need much more. Just use Endless Thirst. Endless Thirst is amazing. All I know is I'm taking my time leveling and enjoying all the new shit. Yeah, I mean you have time. You probably have like what, like a month-ish? You have a good amount of time. But I'm working on trying to get this great sword before it goes away, at least on one character. My UI sounds are still too loud. And like this sounds like, I don't know. I messed up all my sound settings, so we don't get to hear everything anymore. It's level 19. It's not quite high enough level for a great sword. I think I need to be level 30. Is there anything here it's easy to do? What about in here? I could win one more 3v3 match, then I'm done. I guess I could just do that. Like, I already have the build on. But you saw like CTF and those kind of things for season 10, or for season 9, because that's something that you probably missed if you just came back. For season 10, do you think attributes on gear is being removed entirely, or is just perk-based bonuses? It's removed entirely and it's tied to level. So like if I'm level 70, because we know that level 70 is coming out now, then you have access to whatever attributes that AGS dictates. We don't know how many attributes that you get or anything like that, but we know that if you're level 70, like that's where you get your attributes from. And then we don't know anything about attribute food, I believe. But I assume that's still going to exist because it's an integral part of the economy. And mostly annoying with attributes before was like, if you got like a dex scaling like armor piece and you didn't use dex, it was effectively useless and you had to throw it away, and that was kind of removed. So this is a no healer one. Had a brain fart, thought we're going to level 80. No, not yet. Not quite. Rip eight or old crown and attuned leather pants. No, attuned leather pants and old crown will probably still exist. Like that's different. Sorry, I probably wasn't clear about that. Like attuned leather pants and old crown, like they're an artifact. Like that's different than like a regular perk. Like they have a, like they don't give that's like different because like that perk that's unique to that artifact gives stats. It's not like you just get stats for having that gear, if that makes sense. Like the magnify portion of it will be gone, but the bonus will still remain. But I can go over it in a bit. I'm just kind of waiting for people to start slowly trickling in. I don't think there's any wars today. Like, it's kind of been that way for a while, to be honest, but... The other nice part about running this class is you can kind of just, like, face tank everything. And, like, I don't have to go for a healer, for example, if they have a healer, because we just have enough disease to go through everything, because I got Scream on Gauntlet. I haven't seen anyone play this build in a war. Well, actually, no, someone did play this war in, like, the new World League season, whatever we're on Wars. It was just, like, in a lower tier. I don't know how it, like, worked out, but... Like, right now in Wars, Whales went from 2 slots per army to 1 slot. And then that inherently, like, made it much harder to, like, get more creative with things. I love how in Arena you can just, like, spam pots. Oh wait, I forgot I don't have vines. That heart rune does nothing to me, for me. When is it coming out? When's the season pass pushed out to? 26 days from now? So yeah, we're a little bit under a month. We're like, what? 3-4 weeks away? McDonald's sweet and sour sauce? Dude, I have no idea what that is. I have not been to McDonald's in like 10 years, but I hope it tastes good. Fun. There we go, 100% win rate, Flail VG, the new BIS build, clickbait. Cousins will have a video on it tomorrow. I think a lot of people will, like, once you understand the basics of Season 10, you can start to understand the implications of a lot of things, and that's where it gets really interesting. Like, there's a surface level reading of, like, what information was put out, and then there's, like, if you actually think about what they're saying, there's, like, a whole nother degree of information that you can kind of, like, glean from what was shared, and that will be the kind of fun part to go over with you guys. So that should be enough for my thing, right? Chapter 2, Gladiator, whatever. There's level 20, and then I can get the artifact. Here we go, Crescent Wave. And then Crescent Wave, I think is a... Well, I mean, it's a really good artifact, but I think it's pretty good in PvE as well as in PvP. Like, I've got to figure out what build that I want to put together for next season. For the raid and other event. Like, usually I just go tank and, like, don't worry about it too much, because then my drops I could use in both PvE and PvP. But then the question is, do I go, like, heavy tank? Do I go light tank? Like, what do I go between those two, and what kind of tank do I go? I have no idea where these are. How difficult is the new raid? We don't know. Oh, you have to kill stuff at the... Oh, that's not the PvP island. Okay. I was worried this is at the PvP island. I was like, no. Go on, I'm overdue for a good miicrow. Yup. Miicrow, how much content is the new content cap? Enough. For the diehard PvP people, they might want more, but like, I think for the... Oh, there is one that's in the PvP area. That's so annoying. How are the new perk reworks? We don't know. It's not information that is out yet. Also, I probably need to take off the VG here. There's like a little bit that we know, but not much. Do I have a dual scaling thing? Because I don't want to do, like, do I have a sword, maybe? Yeah, I kind of like that idea better. Is that strike? Then that's slash. Perfect. Then I can go strength, dex, and that's just better for scaling. Sure, this is fine. I'm getting trolled by my chat. We know what we know, we don't know what we don't know. Oh, you have to defeat... Ew. You have to defeat 40 people over there? In the FFA area? It's like the flail. I mean, at least the greatsword actually does damage, but like, ew. Is it bad that I've only been on like 2 chest runs in CK? Like, I just didn't think the rewards were that good. I just never did it. I'm also assuming that I could solo this boss, and there's a very good case that, or like a very good chance that I am not going to be able to solo this boss. Where even is this dude? Tax collector? I'm guessing he's like down at the end area. You could solo him, dude? Okay. Where is he? Is he at the bottom? It's one of the big trolls at the top of the cave? Okay, I'm going up. Update, I have aggroed everything. Resub day. Thank you, Golden. 21 months. Golden's my biggest supporter, I think. I really appreciate it. Has it really been that long? God damn. Getting old. Yeah, I do not see this dude. Oh, the tax collector's all the way up here? Man's doing this while PvP flagged. I didn't even know you can get up this high. There's an orichalcum node? What? Get my season 10 prep in. Huge. Oh, this is the security. Okay, so it's just like one of the dudes up here. Oh, that is tax collector. Which one of these guys is hurting so bad? I think it's the grenade, dude. Yeah, the tax collector guy doesn't actually hurt that bad. It was definitely the grenade, dude. Slight issue. We died to the PvE. Golden single handedly carrying miicrow, man subbing even Bunsen. You don't stream. True. Soft hiatus. We love New World. We love New World. Oh gosh, we're all gonna wipe. No. This is so unfortunate. Now I know where it is, so I can actually run back. So that's good. But it's kind of funny. Not gonna lie, the mithril veins look so awkward. Hate how they just plop them into the terrain like that. It's definitely not perfect, but they added them. Need a healer? I don't think it's an issue if I'm like smart about pulling mobs. Or if I just like put on a VG and put on Essence Rupture. Why didn't I think about that? Let's just do the VG with Essence Rupture trick. Like that's just like infinitely easier. Like Tether maybe. Like I don't think I need more than this. Like I would choose all right tree. Like it doesn't really matter. You want LD? Nah, this is East. This is Valhalla. You lost to PvE? Oh yeah, I definitely did. I have not, like, I don't have the funny thing on. The, what do you call it? Lifesteal. Like, if I had lifesteal, I could probably solo it and it wouldn't be an issue, but I don't have lifesteal. And then we aggroed, like, everything, because we're being dumb. They're killing it without you. That's great. Maybe I get credit if I'm nearby? Probably not. I do like nothing for PvE. Like I do the minimum PvE required. So. I was like always of the mindset where if it's like if I wanted to PvE, I was gonna play a game with better PvE content. Like Helldivers. And then generally for PvE or PvP outside of war, like recently it's been like playing a different game too. Is it higher than this? Or was it right here? Oh, I got credit. See, easy. All calculated. Imagine doing PvE, that's what I am saying. But Season 10, I'm probably going to have to do PvE because there's a new raid and there's set bonuses tied to it. So all of a sudden now the PvE is pretty important. So... I figure I can make a dummy tank build or something. Alright, now I need to go into the FFA island and not get farmed. That's the wrong button. I can protect you in FFA. I mean, I don't think people usually come south. Like, people usually are just, like, near, like, this area. I wonder how useful coconuts are gonna be, though. Like, I'm just thinking about it. Like, if you can upgrade artifacts to 700, not 725, without using a coconut. And then you could upgrade from 700 all the way up. So, like, 725 isn't necessary for endgame content, so... I was a PvE enjoyer when selling Umbrals at its peak, but once that motivation got removed, PvE was purposeless. I mean, people sell, like, raid carries now, right? That's, like, the one thing. Mob density is better for the Power Stone quest, in my opinion. Gotcha. My stat split is like completely chalked. If I run into one person, I'm just gonna die, but that's fine. I also have no idea what's on my greatsword tree. Oh, it's like a tank tree. Like a really cursed tank tree. It's like not good. Like this is like mandatory. This is like mandatory for DPS. That's probably good enough still, but kind of annoying. Depends how many umbrals will be needed from 700 to 800. Maybe that 725 saves some umbrals, don't know. I mean, true. And then there's also the maybe the legacy system kind of becomes pointless. All we know is the amount of umbrals is capped, so starting off with a higher number is probably better. Miicrow play Deadlock? Maybe. I mean, I would be down. That's what I would probably be doing if I was not streaming this game. But I think most people would rather see me attempt to PvE and talk about the New World stuff, which I wanted to get to. And make a video on that. Does this guy count? This guy does count. The nice thing is that greatsword tree has lifesteal on it. Are you protecting me? I think people are mostly chill. It's just that there's PK Nation over here. They're like not very chill. Like most people would just see greatsword and be like, oh, he's doing that thing. I'm friends with most of PK Nations. I am like the opposite. I think they hate me. I like I would be okay with them like generally if they respected 1v1s, but every time I go against them they start like trying to keep the group fight me. It's like not very fun. But I don't really care about people that do it, because that's what people did in Albion too. It's just like kind of annoying, but like I get it. MMO is dead, come to MOBA made by Valve. True. I'm not that good at Deadlock yet. I thought I was better than I currently am. And then I figured out where my rank was the other day, and then I realized I wasn't very good at the game still, and that was kind of sad. But I'm getting better and I'm winning more often than I'm losing, so it just takes time. I did have like a game like a few days ago where I was with like Super, if you guys know him, like he was on my team, and it was kind of funny. It was like the longest game I think I've ever had. Like it was like a 50-minute game, and I got like super bad. And then I just got annoyed with my team because we weren't doing anything and just like walked it down and we just won. It's like, okay, this is stupid. But there's a character that they introduced that has basically multiple lives, and like his ultimate's like an extra life. And I effectively built that character out in a way where I had 4 lives. And it's like, I'm just gonna go feed. And Super was like, please don't go feed. And I just like won the game like instantly. It was like they couldn't kill me because I had 4 lives. It was so stupid. It's like, just kill them while they hit me. It's like, we're fine. Oh my god, the mob density is actually atrocious. It's only 6 mob kills here. What is going on over there? Surely you can climb this, right? No? Oh my god. Man. No fun. I'm not surprised you're playing the untillable tank in another game. I don't normally play that class. Like I was trying him out because he's a new hero. Like the like it sounds funny though because that sounds like a very miicrow thing to do. But like usually I'm like I think my top 3 most played right now are like Kelvin, Ivy, and Dynamo. And then like recently I've been playing Paige a little bit more because she's a new hero and she's kind of fun. But like I guess aggressive supports is like the stuff I tend to have the most fun with right now. Like Paige just felt like a little bit bad as I've gotten like the higher elo. Like she can hard carry in team fights, but like if she gets pressured at all, she just like dies. Why does this guy take like no damage? It's like because I don't have mana. It took me like an hour to do this with 10 people around. I mean, they have time. It's just kind of funny, like you have some people that like fight each other in the FFA area, and then you have other people who are just like, I don't really care, man. Like those 2 guys have just been going at it like this entire time. I think everybody just sees the greatsword and he's like, oh, he's here for that thing, and like just doesn't care anymore. Most people were on this island just to do the quest, so we just left each other alone. Yeah. That makes sense. Like, no one really wants to be here. It's just, you have to be. You know, I could be, like, using the VG to, like, do the sucky suck to give myself mana and then the greatsword for the lifesteal. That would probably be the smart thing here. You don't like the variety of content, Crush? You have 10v10 stuff, you have 20v20 stuff, you have 3v3 stuff. I also haven't got my coconut this week, so I guess if I can get a coconut, like, that would be cool. I haven't got my coconut for a lot of weeks, like it's been, but I think it only drops from the large chests now. Like at one point you can get from anything, and now it's just the super large ones, and it's like a 1 in 5. Crush, you think they buffed BB for you? They're like, we heard Crush really wanted to play BB. Forgot how high up you have to look at this. It's like kind of ridiculous. Oh, this guy's not in the zone. Could I like kite him into it and then he'll count? Because that sometimes works. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. No, retreating. Almost. It's a funny strat. Greatsword does so much more damage than like my weapons normally do. Like with Flail, it took so long to do this. Making new terrain is hard. It's just... I mean, to be fair, New World actually spends time, like, making the terrain, and it's not completely procedurally generated. Like, you look at, like, Ashes, and, like, the terrain is, like, ugh. This is going faster than I thought it would. I'm like halfway. Ashes development started the same year as New World did. I mean, to be fair, Ashes is like, I think grassroots though, and New World's AAA, right? So that's still a bit different. Like quite a bit different in terms of like funding and like how many resources that they have. New World is AA. Original team was like 50 dub, scaled to like 150 on release. Hmm. How many people do you think work on Battlefield? I feel like they had larger teams like Blizzard and Activision. Well, I guess they're the same company now. Well, Battlefield's not Blizzard, but like DICE is... I think DICE is Activision now, right? Okay, you can climb this one. I think they're gonna restart the game with Unreal Engine 6. New World's... I think New World's is gonna be on its own engine forever, but yeah, they are doing that. Ashes is like the game that everybody like wants ideally, but then it just hasn't delivered, so. And like, gosh, I think I said I'd tell this story on stream, but like I was like really close to getting into Ashes, and then like stuff hit the fan at the last second, and it was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. And apparently the leveling experience is like beyond awful. Like among the worst like ever seen. They already declared bankruptcy after charging like $100 for the beta. Combat actually feels good, feels nice for tab target. I'm scarred from tab target now because the experience was thrown and it was like okay, but it like was never like desirable. It was like I would rather play any other game, but like playing stuff with people was like kind of fun. But I think everybody looks back at that game and was like, yeah, I kind of wish I didn't touch it. My gosh, the spawn rates on these mobs is not high enough. I'm like a solo person and I can't find anything to hit. And I need 14 more. You think the resources from Gorgon will still be relevant for gear upgrades for Season 10? I mean, that's what I was kind of talking about earlier when I was talking about the coconut. It's like, I don't think it will really be relevant, but it does give you, like, the material that, like, lets you, like, upgrade artifacts and those kind of things and, like, upgrade certain gear pieces. And, like, I feel like that material is, like, more likely to be usable. But, like, in terms of, like, upgrading gear from, like, 700 to 725, like, I think you could use Umbral or you could use, like, the new system. Because they said that you can upgrade from 700 to 800 gear score, so I wouldn't expect it to be completely reused. Wow, the lifesteal is kind of crazy. I imagine multi-hit, just like infinite lifesteal. Because the wave's delayed and everything has an activation cooldown that's like super, super small. And because the wave doesn't hit at the same time, it would just proc. I can see why this is pretty strong. 6-7? Jules? Jules is back? The man, the myth, the legend? Jules, I think there's a good amount of like new people to the game that literally don't know you except for the meme like, please don't bench me, I had a bad war. Just here to listen to your thoughts about season 10. I'll get into it after I kill 9 more of these dudes. Okay, cool, I got my coconut. And like we're like kind of give a perspective on it, but I think it will be good enough to have like an end game basically. It's like New World's going from a game that doesn't really have an end game to having an end game. Oh god, I played that poorly, but it doesn't matter too much. And like that is like itself like a huge boost for New World because like New World's never really had a end game, so to speak. And then this is like directly giving a system that could be used for renewable content in the end game for a long period of time. Put my mob up here. Like in terms of PvP stuff, I don't think it's like the meta will obviously shift because there's a lot of new systems that are being introduced. But there's not really enough information out right now to know how it will shift. Just that the gearing system is going to be completely different. We can kind of talk about that. Wonder how many people will reinstall. There hasn't been many game options recently. Oh god. Have you seen the top Steam charts recently? It's like actually so cursed. Like if you look at the top 10 games on Steam charts, like as of like 2 days ago, like the 10th game's like straight up like a porn game. It's like so bad. It's so funny though. It's like there's literally nothing out. I wonder if it still is. I'm trying to find the thing. Oh, it's not anymore. Wait, it's actually... It was top 10, like, really recently. I think Helldivers I saw as being higher up. Yeah, I don't see the funny game on here now. I mean, that's probably a good thing, or maybe they just removed it from this list. But Borderlands 4, what I saw was the highest the other day, and then Helldivers 2 is like pretty close behind it. But they might have included like consoles as well. Like I don't really know what they did to the list. What are you doing? Like that's something you don't see the other people do very often. I kind of wish they did more. Is like just respect the 1v1. I guess these guys didn't really do it, but the guy also like started attacking me while I was alt tabbed and did not kill me for some reason, so that was kind of impressive. A second, I have to get my YouTube chat back up. There we go. I play this game once a week and it's to get a coconut. Well, you're gonna have a new way to get coconuts. You're gonna have special season 10 coconuts. No. What if every season they just released a new version of a coconut? Just a reskin? Season 10 coconut with season 9 description, exactly. Minimal effort, just have you get new gear. It's like, hey guys, we got a new season, there's new gear. There's a new coconut. I think the PvE mob hit harder than that other dude did that smacked me in PvP. But I think he was also running the flail, and the flail doesn't really do much damage. Alright, 3 more. I thought you had grit during startup. But I guess I don't have the con. Well, it seemed like it was pretty successful. No deaths. Oh, this is the one that you can't climb up there and you have to, like, walk around, right? And we're done. So now I just have to do a B&B, but I don't have to do that today. Do I care about these mats? I don't really care about these mats. I'm just gonna recall. Okay, then we can get into this thing. Alright, cool. Let me pull up what we know, and then I made a little drawing for some people to explain one of the systems. I could talk about that. Alright, so everything does not look good here, because I am... No, it does. I'm not streaming New World, the game. Okay, perfect. It's actually grabbing the right screen. Alright. You guys ready for this? Get into the new season? AKA New World Vampire Hunters or something? So... New World Season 10 is Nighthaven. It is vampire themed, so to speak. You got vampires, you got werewolves, like that kind of theme. There are some screenshots here of what it looks like. It's kind of spooky. We got giant castles in the background. Kind of got manors, kind of emptied out churches, like just generally speaking, spooky vibes. I think everybody has predicted silver is going to be good and garlic is going to be a gem slot, which I think is really funny. But a whole bunch of predictions on terms of what will be good. This comes out on Monday, October 13th. It would have been really cool if they released it on like a Friday the 13th, but unfortunately I don't think I could do that. That'd be really fun. Also, releasing stuff on a Friday is a terrible idea, but it's still released on the 13th, so even more spooky there. In terms of Nighthaven itself, they talk about the story a bit and give some backstory here. I'll let you read through this if you want to read through it. But I think most people are here to kind of look at the content. So this is a new zone, so it will be on the map, and you'll be able to explore it. Immediate thing with that is like it's kind of a brimstone sands size at a minimum kind of expansion. I would argue it's most likely bigger than Brim. We didn't get artifacts during Brimstone Stands. What we got during Brimstone Stands is we got access to Heart Runes. And then I think we had Umbral V1 when it came out. And now we're getting Umbral V2. We have Heart Runes. We have set bonuses. We have artifacts. And a whole bunch of other kind of new goodies. So a lot is going to be going on here. There is a new story. Using that story, you're going to be able to, kind of spoilers, you're going to be able to get up to level 70. Currently the level is 65. I believe if you did not buy the Rise of Angrier Earth, you are still capped at level 60. And because you cannot progress from level 60 to level 65, you probably won't be able to progress from level 65 to 70. But the other main thing about this is I forget where it says it on here, but people were saying this is a free update, which is really, really nice. So it's effectively free if you bought Rise of Angrier Earth. If you did not buy that, it's not free. So that will be very nice for everybody that's kind of coming back to the game and played it at one point. For all the new console rivals, I think if you had like the trial, you didn't get access to the level 65 plus content, but if you bought the game, you have level 65 plus content now, and you get access to this. There is a new game mode called Catacombs. Catacombs is that procedurally generated dungeon that they talked about. Which, when I think of like procedurally generated dungeons, I don't know if you guys have played this game before, if you understand this reference, but if you know the game Moonlighter, it's a game that I've played that is like conceptually is like that. You advance throughout certain rooms. You have to explore and kind of make it to bosses. Once you beat the boss, you get drops and yada yada. So the main thing here is Catacombs is up to 3 players. In a procedurally generated dungeon, you battle a variety of enemies and bosses, so I assume not everything is Lost themed. Which spoilers, the new raid is Lost themed. You gain unique specific mode power-ups. Think of like the CTF map with power-ups there, I assume, maybe some other new ones too. You collect cursed resources. Think of the FFA island, where if you die, you lose them all. Except I think with this, if you die, you only lose a small amount of them. And you collect currency. That currency is probably used for some sort of vendor. You race to the end and try to cleanse the treasures before the time comes out. So the main thing here that's like interesting is we have procedurally generated kind of semi-infinite content here. So it's not like you're going through an expedition, you know what's going on every single time. Like I imagine there's going to be different bosses, there's going to be different layouts. You don't know the exact map of everything. In theory, this is the kind of pinnacle of PvE experiences that's going to be released, and there's not going to be anything like that. The 3 players going into it is also super, super interesting, because normally when you think of PvE, you think of tank, healer, fill with DPS. But if you have only 3 players, it's like, can you afford to have a tank and have a healer and 1 DPS? Like, does that work out? Do you need your tank to be a hybrid DPS player? Do you really want a dedicated healer? Do you want your healer to be a hybrid DPS player? Like, you kind of have to play with those slots a little bit more. And that, I think, opens up a really big strategy component that hasn't been there in PvE before, because everything's just kind of been locked into their kind of typical MMO rules, where you have your healer, you have your tank, you have your DPS. The other thing I don't believe that they talk about here, and they don't really expand upon, is like, are these 3 players? Could you go in is it only pre-made for 3v3s? Could you queue for this system? Could you queue as tank, healer, or DPS? Like, how does that whole work? That's not really explained here either, and is something that still needs to be ironed out. But we are getting access to Catacombs, and it will be really, really interesting to some. And I think a lot of people will like this content a lot, and definitely a lot of like PvE players I think will like it. In terms of PvP, You assume it drops gear that is compatible with set bonuses because they talk about that here a bit, and which we'll get into later. I think the set bonuses drop from catacombs, they drop from the new raid, and they drop from PvP stuff, if I recall correctly from the doc. What's up, Berg? What's up, Brumbus? So yeah, this will be like kind of one of the new PvE areas. There's also a raid that's coming out. I expect most people to probably play primarily the catacombs and not necessarily go for the raid right away. The devs have already mentioned in subsequent talks that the raid is like very difficult, and previous raids are like relatively easy compared to this one. So you expect that probably 95% of people like will not be doing the raid, and most people will be doing the catacombs or something along those lines if they actually are trying to make it like really, really hard. And you know, there'll probably be a whole system where people get paid to try to carry raids if they could even do that. And we'll kind of see how that works itself out there. But the catacombs will be a good way to get new gear in terms of like progressing early on when this comes out. I imagine that will be something that people try to like kind of rush for, because if you are thinking about like end game content, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, maybe I shouldn't, but if you're thinking about like set bonuses and you want those set bonuses, and this is one way to get them, PvP is another way to get them, and a raid's another way to get them, of those three evils, so to speak, catacomb seems like the most likely the easiest one for the majority of people to get those set bonuses. And then PvP, in my opinion, would probably be the second easiest, and then after that, like the hardest is probably the raid. So we'll see how that works out. Speaking of the raid, it's called Isle of the Night. It's a 10-person endgame raid. It is set in a once magnificent kingdom whose inhabitants have now fallen lost. So it is lost, and immediately as this news came out, the price of everything Lost related skyrocketed. So if you don't have Lost trophies, I'm sorry, you might want to farm for them. If you don't have Lost coatings or Lost word potions, I'm also sorry, you might want to farm for them. Or just wait a month and hope the prices drop, because those spiked. Like if I go for Lost, oh, is it the trophies? Yeah, what's the major trophy for Lost at now? 40k, yeah. Yeah, they're expensive. And like for reference, major corrupted is like 16k, so those have spiked significantly. You will probably need them to do the raid, because it'll give you a good DPS boost. The level cap is increased to 70. Max gear score is 800. Currently, our max gear score is 725, and the level cap is 65. The other thing that they talk about here, I think it's a little bit later on, is your attributes from your gear are effectively gone, and it's tied to level. So hitting that level 70 will be really, really important. If you're a player that does not buy the expansion, you'll inherently be at a pretty big disadvantage, I imagine, because you'll have less stat points. You won't be able to, like, that will just be harder to do activities. So we have our attribute points. If these will no longer have this like weird magnify thing going on here, like this will all be gone. You'll just have like the blue bar, I think, effectively, and maybe like a purple bar when it comes to using food that gives you stats. We got the new gear modding system. They call it perk charms. So instead of one customizable gear slot, gear can now have up to 4 empty sockets. Keep in mind that I believe, how many slots does gear have now? So we have 5 on gear. I think they're not including the gem slot with this. Like, people would say, oh, I have like a 3 perk chest piece, but one of those slots is technically a gem slot. One of them is technically the magnify slot. It sounds like they're basically just getting rid of the magnified slot, and they're creating another slot. And these are where charms are socketed. So, like, I drew that out here. Sorry if you like dark mode, but I didn't draw it out perfectly. Where it's like you have your weapon, you have a gem slot, and you have charm 1, charm 2, charm 3, charm 4. And then of those charms, they're configurable, right? Because they talk about how you could have defensive, offensive, or skill charms. So this effectively means you have a crap ton of variety in terms of what's this. So if I am a tank player, maybe I want 4 defensive charms. If I am a DPS player, maybe I want 4 offensive charms. If I really like skills, like I guess you can only have up to 6 skill charms or 6 skills equipped. But like you get the idea there. There is a lot of customizability, and I imagine there will be lots of debates in terms of what is BIS. So, like, because illegal combinations are now legal, that opens up a whole variety of different builds as well, right? So like one thing that was like before was like you think about Frigid Dawn. Like Frigid Dawn was really popular because you could have Enchanted Ward, and you could have Elemental Aversion on the same piece, which both those perks are really, really good. That's no longer illegal with this system, and that's a byproduct of the system. So in terms of how individual socketable like charm effects are balanced, that's like a whole nother conversation there. And it's gonna be you're gonna have builds in theory that are like super tanky but don't do a lot of DPS. You'll have glass cannon builds that are insanely high DPS and not very tanky, and then you imagine you'll have people in the middle as well. So that's one aspect of the end game that will be coming out, and then the other is set bonuses, right? So you're grinding to get those perfect charm combinations, or if you can exchange charms, maybe it's a little bit less grindy, and then you're also trying to get the set bonus on top of that. So you have this thing where you have your gem slot, it's probably guaranteed, you're looking for these 4 charms, you're looking for a set bonus for all this, and then like 1 or 2 things on top of that. So in terms of like compared to current gear, this is going to be a much grindier endgame. I would suspect that a lot of like PvP players that are like ward loggers are going to have a hard time keeping up on multiple characters, and I'm guessing most people that like currently, for example, I have like 5 or 6 characters and I maybe war on like 4 right now. I would expect that next patch to be maybe 2 characters that I'm actively playing on, maybe 3 if you just only play New World. Like it's going to be significantly harder to keep every single character geared up because you have such a high diversity of endgame gear. Like as you start bissing out characters, as you start getting stuff that you're happy with, maybe you have time to like level up new characters, but it's like you're not going to have as much diversity or like you're not going to have a diversity of like servers that you're on as much for that, which I think that's really healthy for the game, because one of the issues that the game suffers from right now from a PvP side is there's quite simply just not enough servers for the war slots. You expect with the new season there will be an influx of returning and new players. With an influx of returning and new players, new servers will get opened. With new servers being opened, there will be more war slots. If people cannot easily gear up on multiple servers, that means that newer people and people that have not been able to experience wars will finally kind of get to do that again, which I think is really healthy, considering at the launch of the game there were like maybe 150, 200 servers with 12 territories. So it's like if you wanted to war, you had the ability to war. Right now, on the East, there's like, I think 3 servers and there's 12 territories. So it's like there's not like that many there's not like a lot of war slots, and people haven't really been able to get into it. So like the PvP endgame has basically just been OPR. You have like PK Nation and FFA area, and maybe some CTF and 3v3s. It's not really war oriented for the most part because that's so exclusive. So I think this will help with that a lot in terms of increasing that time to grind, assuming that the 800 gear score stuff is able to kind of help new players significantly to the point where they can beat veteran players that are playing on low gear score. Like one thing that will inevitably happen is they're going to have veteran players trying to hold territory to make money on servers that they're not really on, because the start of expansion people are going to be crafting like crazy, I'm guessing, and they'll be basically have 725, and we're going to see how 725 versus 800 gear score matches up and like those kind of matchups and see what happens. T1 playing T3 wars too. Yeah, like T1 I mean, there's just not a lot of T1 wars either. Like the T1 wars right now are basically non-existent. Cutting it into a rant here, but there was supposed to be a T1 v T1 matchup on Valhalla, and I think everybody just like kind of abandoned that ship and went to Ashes and is waiting for season 10 to kind of come back and start that off again. And then in the meantime, the players that remained are trying to still war, and then they ended up in like T2 and T3 wars. So that's how that happened. There's basically zero difference between 700 to 725 gear, right? Besides more armor. In terms of like if they were to remove magnify and like that attribute bonus, so you're talking about that, Dargeti? Hell yeah, PK Nation. But so if they get rid of the magnify, the purpose of going from 725 to like 800 gear score, I would assume that would be with the perks. Like with new charms, we're probably going to get new perks. Those new perks will probably get better as your gear score increases. Armor values will also increase as gear score increases, and your weapon base damage will also increase. So there is some incentive to get higher geared, but it's kind of something that opens up more holes that we can talk about, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole quite yet. Unless other people want to, but we'll see how that goes. It's all about the charms and set bonus versus attributing. I mean, yes, but you can upgrade any gear, right? So if I get the charms and attribute bonus like that I want, then I could upgrade that. What I miss? Oh my god. You can watch the VOD. We're talking about right now like how gearing's gonna work in terms of you're gonna have access to a gem slot, and then you're gonna have 4 charm slots that are kind of rotatable. You're gonna have a set bonus potentially tied to this as well, and then there's also infixes, which is something that's like not explained super well, but I assume it takes up one of these slots because that's kind of what happens, I think, with artifacts right now. Let's see, how many slots do artifacts have? I shouldn't use one I already. So artifact is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like they explain that infixes are kind of like artifacts, so I don't know if infixes will have like 6 slots. I don't know if there'll be like 6 slots in the set bonus. Like that's kind of left to be determined here. But you assume infixes have powerful effects that you're probably going to want to obtain. So infix will for sure be the rule breaking perks like Frigid Dawn. Well, Frigid Dawn you could just use, right? Because you could slot defensive charms, offensive charms, any of those in these slots. So I could run Elemental Aversion here and Enchanted Ward here. That's perfectly legal. I can go I can do Elemental Ward, Physical Aversion, Enchanted Ward, Grit Ward if I wanted to. Like, it is kind of insane. Gear feels handcrafted now. I kind of like that. That's kind of the feel. I mean, we don't know how these 4 charm slots play out necessarily. Like, they talk about how there's 4 charm slots. Like, say they have like the random gear bonus right now. So like, if you had like gear right now they're upgrading, it's like 2 perks are locked, right? And then 1 is upgradable. Like, say you have 2 gear perks that are locked. Now I'm trying to get a set bonus for the weight class with 2 pieces of RNG gear that I like that no longer have perk buckets with the charms that I want to slot more gear options so I could have my bis. So like the degrees of bis is like it gets really, really crazy, like really, really fast. Like if I were to draw it out, it's like the first thing that you probably want is you're going to want your set bonus. After you get your set bonus, you're probably going to want your 2 RNG perks. After you get your 2 RNG perks, you're going to want your charm slots to match up. And then, like, once you have all of this, you also have to take into account, I guess, even before the set bonus, you need to have the right weight class, right? So it's like, you need all of these things to line up to get something that's bis. So it is very, very difficult to get a bis piece. Like, if you think about when the game first came out, it was like, you crafted gear, there was a random chance that it would be legendary. If it was legendary, all those perk slots were completely random, and then based off the result of all of that randomness, you had some sort of gear piece that could have been pretty good. So there's just like a lot going on. I imagine at the beginning, like we're probably not going to care about the set bonuses as much. We're just going to care about the weight class, whatever perks you have in the charm slots, and then like over time, it's going to be like, okay, how important is the set bonus? Is the set bonus more important than these 2 RNG perks? Would I rather have that and just use my charm slots? Like, you're going to have to make some decisions between, like, these 3 pieces over here. But that's going to be the kind of the fun part with season 10. So how back are we in season 10? Season 10 from I haven't gone through the whole thing. We've gone through a little bit, but season 10 is, I would argue, the season that has the most New World content that was released from the previous season to the current season. In terms of like the endgame overhaul this perk system has, it is incredible. Like it is larger than Brimstone. It's like larger than when launch came out. Like it's like there's so much like endgame diversity with this sort of system that you will probably not get bored. Like there's so much to do there. And the other thing we haven't even talked about is like set bonus. You have like combinations, right? Because they talk about how set bonuses are 2, 4, 3, 5. So it's like you have all these different combinations of set bonuses. And then the other thing I don't bring up here is artifacts aren't necessarily part of a set bonus, right? Because it's a different system. So now it's like I have all these set bonuses and I might want to fit in some artifacts and I have different combinations. So there's just like, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of gear combinations to the point where it will be very hard to argue that one setup is completely BIS, but I think the idea is that you kind of strive for themes. So it's like, if you want to be tanky, you want to have generally more defensive slots in your gear, you generally want to have the defensive set bonuses and kind of go from there. If you want to be a healer, you want to generally have the healer's set bonuses, you generally want to have healer perks on. And it just gets very, very crazy, very, very crass. Fast. So what would be a set bonus? Like if you have 2 equipped to get more of an effect? To be determined, but like the way I would think about it for now is like if you have 2 of a set bonus, you get an artifact like effect in terms of power level. So they're quite strong. Yeah, so it's like it's another effect. Like you have artifacts that are effects, you have set bonuses that are effects, you have infixes that are effects, and you have all these like perks as well. So there is just a lot more complexity to the gear system. People have compared it heavily to ESO, and ESO was kind of notorious for having. Well, I didn't play ESO, so I'm kind of coming out of this from left field. But ESO like actually had an endgame. New World does not. I am very happy for sealing ESO's endgame because New World had basically everything else going for him, in my opinion. It was just like there wasn't really an endgame. Miicrow something like a grit set where it's only grit on heavies for 2 out of 4, then 4 grit on 4 of 4 or something. I mean, yeah, like something along those lines. But then it's like if 300 con remains untouched, why would I go for that? And then that just opens up a whole nother can of worms. They might look to lock certain charm slots to offensive only. So like Ice Gauntlet 2 defensive, 1 offensive, 1 skill charm put together on gear. Or so like not Ice Gauntlet. So they might look to lock certain charm slots to offensive only. I guess 2 defensive, 1 offensive, and 1 skill charm available to put on gear. Yeah, that's not laid out here exactly. But like the main thing with the charms is like you don't really have buckets, right? Because you could slot gear into charms. Like your defensive charms are going to have defensive gear perks. And if you don't have buckets, then it's basically just RNG. So are charms like glorified gems? That's probably the best way to think about it. Charms are like glorified gems for perk slots. We don't really know that yet, right? They don't really go into detail. I mean, no, but they're literally called defensive, offensive, and skill charms. Like, what are they going to be? Like, oh my god, I have a skill perk. It's going to go into skill charm. Like, you know, like the healing tomb's going to go into skill charm. It's not rocket science. Like, you have an enchanted ward and vital synergy. Those are defensive ones. If you add something like fire harnessing, that's an offensive charm. And if you have up to 4 perks, it has to be multiples of something. Exactly. So that's how we know you can have multiple. Like, you should at least be able to have 2 defensive, 1 offensive, 1 skill, but it's not guaranteed. And it's like, if you think about the fact that you can only have 6 skills equipped, and they're also getting rid of, like, the focus here, then it's like, you shouldn't be limited to having to have 1 skill charm locked, right? Because if you had 1 skill charm locked, you'd have 2 empty slots. So then from that, you could think out, and it's like, okay, if we don't have skill charms locked, then, you know, we could have potentially up to 2 defensive, 2 offensive. We could have 3 defensive, 1 offensive. Like, you get into all those kind of permutations and combinations. And then that's what makes Abyss so interesting, is it's likely to be evolving. And like, say, in Season 11, they introduce a new really, really good offensive perk, and your current gear only has defensive perks. Maybe you need to regrind your gear set to get an offensive perk slot so you can slot that offensive piece. Like, it gets very, very grindy, but it being grindy for an MMO, I think, is a good thing, and that's also why I think it's a little bit scary to focus on more than like 2 characters at a time. And I think that will generally be healthier for the game because more people will have access to more content. Which for me is a good thing because I'm generally war focused, and if you look at any like war specific tier list right now, and you count how many the number of people in it, most of the war tier lists right now have less than 100 players in them. There are 100 people in a war. Like, every single war tier list is effectively incomplete, and a lot of people just recycle war players for different rosters. And realistically, if someone's like smart about doing a war tier list, it's like, you have T1 players, you have T2 players, you have T3. It's not this like bullshit like S, A, A+, A-. Like, none of that exists. It's like, what level are you? Like, can you play with the players and not get rolled? Like, if Apple shows up to a T1 war, he shouldn't have over 12 deaths. Like, that's the kind of thing we're looking for. It's like, can you play ball? It's not necessarily if you're the best person at playing ball. It's like, can you actually show up? So that will be something. I think it's a ramification of this, and it's going to be really, really interesting. Are charms interchangeable, like how gems currently work? Are they set once you choose them? That's something that's not really expanded upon, and we don't really know. For now, I would just assume it's complete RNGesus, and that you have random charms on top of stuff that could be giving set bonus on top of stuff that could be giving infixes, and you have tons and tons and tons and tons of permutations and combinations. Which it will be very grindy and very hard to necessarily get your best in slot, but once you get it, it will be really, really rewarding and be a really, really big power spike. Thank you, Denny, for the prime. I appreciate it. Pro, you always go after his deaths. I'm sorry. He's very easy to pick on. Like, there's other people I could pick on too, but he's super easy to pick on. like I don't know. You can go after tanks that have 5 deaths in a war too. Like, tanks should probably not be having 5 deaths in a war. He should probably be under like 2 to 3 generally as a tank, unless you're running relentless and your army's getting farmed, in which case I feel okay with having higher deaths. How do you think this new setup will impact crafting gear versus finding gear in open world dungeon, etc.? Well, that comes down to this next thing: set bonuses. We're introducing set bonuses in a New World Eternum for the first time. These ultra rare sets of gear will be earned from pinnacle endgame content, not crafting. Isle of Night Raid, Catacombs, and the PvP track. Crafting will not give you best in slot, but it will probably give you competitive gear. So if you can't get set bonuses from crafting, right? It's like, okay, I don't have the set bonus thing. I could have 2 BIS RNG perks and charm slots though, and that's still really good gear. So like, this is the gear slot that most PvP players will probably be warring with. They'll have access to money. They'll be buying stuff off the market that in theory has BIS for them, and they'll just use that and forget about the set bonuses. For everybody else that like actually cares about the one character they're playing on, if you want a competitive advantage, you need to add this set bonus piece, and then you will have like another artifact like effect, or actually multiple of them, right? Because you can have multiple combinations of them. I would expect most people to have either 2, 2, 3, and then that would be a total of 7, and then you have 3 slots for artifacts, or to have a 4, 3 setup, or maybe a 2, 2, 2 and just drop 1, or maybe a 2, 2, 2, 2. And drop an artifact, like some combination of that. Like, it's not going to be like this 5-2 thing. Like, I guess 5-2 would be possible too, but it's not going to be 5-3-2. Like, the 3 here, that's your artifact slots. Like, you're not doing a 5-3-2 set split. Like, unless artifacts count for the set bonuses, like, that's never happening. Or set bonuses are just significantly better than the effects that artifacts give you. But dropping 3 artifacts sounds crazy to me. And then the other thing that's kind of cool with this too is So we have charm slots. Okay, what happens to our current artifacts because we know that we're going to be able to use them next patch? Is that one flex slot and this magnify slot getting converted into a charm slot? Does that mean we can have slockable custom gear on your artifacts now? And then what that does is you have artifacts that were once really really bad that could become really really good, right? Like what if I could swap out this life stealing for um the perk where it's like if you block you gain a fortify. Like you can get much more powerful gear at that point. I think they say for the notes the attribute will convert into a random perk for the gear that we already have. Yeah, they do. They said a random mid perk, but it won't apply to artifacts. I mean, you figure like that upgradable slot on the artifacts that you at least had that will turn into a charm slot that you can put whatever you want there. Like you figure there's going to be at least one. Like the question right now is like how many charm slots do you have access to? How customizable is the gear, right? And then I mean, we can keep going down the rabbit hole. There's like another layer of the rabbit hole where it's like, okay, say that you have a limited amount of charm slots and you have certain pieces that are like locked. Are those completely locked or they're RNG? Because we just got rid of, like, if you just introduce charms, then you just got rid of, what do you call it? The, what's it called? Where you have like your proc bucket. Well, I guess they're just buckets. Like if they get rid of buckets, then you could have complete RNG for those two slots that are locked, or however many slots that are locked, right? So it's just like the gear is just crazy in terms of endgame. Like it's actually crazy. Like you can just have tons and tons and tons of stuff, which is why I was like so excited when they talked about set bonuses before, and I think they talked about this too in the roadmap previously. But like the amount of permutations and combinations is just like incredible for endgame gear, which means New World actually has an endgame, which we didn't have before. And I think this kind of endgame is like significantly better than what's in some other games, right? Like if you look at like Ashes right now, like the Ashes endgame, which I mean Ashes isn't a complete game, is you go to a mob, you grind for a specific drop, and then you use the drop. Like you have something similar here, but there's like much more depth and customizability to it. Like it almost feels like Destiny to me in a way, where it's like you're trying to get like that BIS option that you want, but it's a little bit more customizable. People compare it to Path of Exile. Like it's just like very very interesting. Comparing a dead game to a scam game. Yeah. Don't ever say that word. Destiny sucks. Hey, I was looking at the Steam charts. Destiny's still up there. It's still in the top 5. So most people play it. There are over 100,000 people that are concurrently playing Destiny right now. So most people would disagree with that. But it is EA. So we have infixes. Infixes, they're kind of akin to artifacts. Don't really know how they work. Assume they're tied to set bonuses to some extent because there's some powerful effect. And you get the powerful effects from set bonuses from the raid, catacombs, and the PvP track. So there's going to be something related to that. When there are no longer perks, or sorry, attribute changes, there are no longer any perks which increase attributes. We felt that these perks didn't really result in a meaningful choice between two good alternatives, so we decided to reclaim that slot for more interesting perks, which comes back to the charms, because that got replaced with the charm, right? All the attribute points that used to come from these perks have been instead added to the native attribute point pool granted by normal leveling. And to make sure this is easier to manage, we made gear set storage loadouts also save your current attribute loadout, which is super, super, super nice and convenient. So if you're in a raid and you, like, if you're doing a new raid and you want to slot between two sets, you no longer have to, like, respec every time in theory. Like, gosh, that is going to be so nice. The attribute perks on existing gear have been replaced by other perks of relatively low power, since players will keep the power of the attribute perks you use to yield. So I think they're talking, like, this isn't talking about new gear here, like, but someone was kind of talking about that earlier. This is talking about old gear. So they're saying, hey, your old gear, because you're losing this slot, it's not going to be that good. It's not necessarily talking about new gear. In terms of the new gear, that's where it comes down to, uh, instead of having one gem slot, gear could have up to 4 empty sockets, which players can install new charms. It'll get like vigor or whatever, like yeah, something like that, or they're like nerf old gear, introduce new gear, or they'll have crazy new gear with all these new perks. Like it'll be something like that. I'm so lost. What slot are they removing? So if you look at your current gear piece, like you see how you have this slot that gives you stats, and then you have gems, and then you have perk. This slot is going away. They are adding another slot here that can be a perk. Those perks are within slots that are either defensive, offensive, or skill charms. For each one of those, you could slot a corresponding perk. So, for example, Purifying Scream, that is a skill perk. Keen Speed, like that would be an offensive perk probably. Keen would be an offensive perk. Defensive perks would be stuff like Enchanted Ward, Vital Synergy, like those kind of things. We don't know the split of those. Like you figure you could have offensive perks on this, right? Because you could have like fire damage on your gear, so like that would generally be an offensive perk. So you can figure you have an offensive perk here. Like we don't know which ones could have offensive perks. If you could have a defensive perk on your weapons, like how that works for amulets, like, and all these pieces, like there's a lot there. Are gems staying in the gear? Yeah, gems are still there. They talk about that here. Instead of just one customizable gem slot, gear could have up to 4 empty sockets, which are the charms. So like you have the gem slot and then you have the new charms. Like they're just replacing the attribute slot with the charm slot. I'm genuinely curious to what perks that they're planning on implementing if the goal is to avoid mandatory perks. I mean, the obvious one is they're getting rid of Hardy, right? Like Hardy's a mandatory perk right now. There's no way Hardy survives. Say they remove Hardy, are they increasing everyone's stamina by 10%? Or is there just a downside now for light and heavy where you can't triple dodge anymore? And then if you can't triple dodge anymore, does that mean everybody starts running a Stam Rune Glass so they can do dodge, hit, double dodge? Like it gets very, very creative. Could go like Freedom, Flash Conditioning, and Elemental Aversion, Nullifying Oblivion now. Yeah, exactly. Like it can get really, really crazy like that. And it's the balance, the part that's like really interesting from it is like, say I'm a musket player and I've never seen the light of day in 12 years and I've only played New World, which is not even possible. But say you want to be like really, really annoying. What if I had armor with all offensive gear slots, you know? And you're a glass cannon person that's sitting across the map just one-tapping everybody. Like, you probably could do something like that. And like, say you're miicrow and you want to do a tank build and you want to live forever. Well, now you can, like, I mean, that's kind of what I'm already doing, but I got another slot and I can run Enchanted Ward and Elemental Aversion now. Miicrow, you think it gives you insane build options for utility or insane damage, or a mix of something totally different? I think you have basically that. It's like you can go insane damage, you can go insane utility, or you can have some sort of medium. Obviously, if you have insane utility, you're going to have low damage. If you have low damage, then you're dependent on other people. And you probably can't, like, do a whole lot about, like, moving people away because you don't really have ways to, like, pressure people. So I'm guessing people most likely end up going for some sort of balance factor. But I could very easily see something like musket, which, you know, you have range, so if people can't get on you, you can do a lot. Going complete glass cannon, 5 con max in max dex, max offensive gem slots, and just kind of get crazy with it and try to break the game too. That will be the kind of the optimization part that will be really, really interesting. There's still no talk on here how this might impact healers. Do they benefit at all? It's up to the charm slots, right? And like how that system works. I would say the interesting ramification of charm slots is if you have charm slots, there's no longer buckets. If there's no longer buckets, You know how everybody tries to get that, like, worm hat? Like, everybody tries to get this thing because it has Savior on there. The reason why everybody tries to get Savior on there is because you can't stack Blessed and Sacred. If you have 2 charm slots that are rotatable, or 4 charm slots, whatever they're saying there is, and they're not confined by loot, like, they're not confined by buckets like they are right now, I could stack Savior and I could stack Blessed. Which means your relative heal output is going to increase unless they nerf the potency of those perks. The options just seem so much smaller for a healer. There's not much build diversity as it is. Oh, like in terms of like you just go full defensive and then you'd go for everything at like min-max as your healing. I think the part there that might be interesting is like, say you have to choose between having more healing or being more tanky. That's the part where it gets interesting for a healer. It also means people can stack disease, though, which, not gonna lie, sounds insanely impressive. Yep, but then, like, you assume it's also the opposite, right? Where healers can stack more heals. And this is an example of stacking more heals. Where it's like you could stack Savior and Blessed on a life staff. And, like, you know that thing I talked about earlier where it was like you can potentially, like, change perks and artifacts? Say I have that new life staff that gives you a heal bonus if you haven't like healed yourself, or you don't have an active life staff heal over time on yourself. Well, now you could take that and then you could change out a perk or two, and now all of a sudden that's the new best healer life staff. Like there's like ramifications like that, which the deeper you go down the thinking rabbit hole, which it's kind of dangerous to go down that far without more details, the more you realize that the amount of like end game combinations is very, very significant. And it kind of leads to what I kind of think the meta will be more like, where like right now it's a very, very tanky meta. Generally speaking, it's relatively hard to die with optimal play. And I think that the time to kill will decrease significantly in Season 10 because you have builds that can go full glass. And I'm guessing if you can go full glass, you probably could 2 to 3 tap people. And if you could 2 to 3 tap people, then you know, the time to kill is probably going down. I mean, you already kind of have 2 to 3 tapping people with like this great sword, but like you figure that starts becoming a thing on like musket and like other builds as well. Probably means like healers can do things like stack cooldown reduction at the cost of healing outputs, though. Yeah, like it's things like that is like how I would think. Like we don't have details on the perks yet, but like it's basically just think of like everything illegal that you possibly could have wanted in the past, and that's probably going to be obtainable to some extent. The question here too is if they plan on getting rid of mandatory perks, they must be breaking up Enchanted Ward and Elemental Ward or providing actual comparable options. I mean, yeah, or they just like nerf the values, right? Or they buff other perks. Like one of the perks that's like incredibly underrated right now, I'd argue, is Keenly Fortified. Like gain 15% Fortify for 5 seconds on a critical hit. Like nobody really tries to get this perk right now, but 15% Fortify for 1 perk slot is like incredibly good, especially for something that's like as consistent as critting. So you figure there's going to be like options. But in terms of finishing this up, because we keep getting distracted, we got the attribute changes, perk design. We've done a complete sweep through a collection of perks and made some structural changes. Our goal is to make perk selection conditional and thoughtful and eliminate must-have perks. This is what we've kind of been talking about, and simply raise the critical combat numbers like damage, stamina, and cooldown reduction without some meaningful drawback. So the thing I point to when I think of this is like, think of Relentless. Relentless, I would argue, is one of the best designed artifacts in the game. And the whole premise of it is you give allies armor around you, but you take more damage. So there's a give and a take. And like that's their design philosophy going forward, where it's like opportunity cost is like the way I would phrase it if you know that term from economics. The idea is like as you invest into one thing, you're giving up more of another. So if I invest into more defensives, I'm giving up offensives. And you have to think about like, hey, is that worth it? Like, is it worth having that extra slot of enchanted ward, or would I rather have something like fire damage there instead? Like, I don't know, just for argument's sake, or like void damage or void blade. Relentless is bugged for me, can't upgrade it sadly. Yeah, they accidentally got rid of that upgrade thing. It will probably be back in the next season. But they messed that up. But that's kind of what I would think about in terms of this. And then like lastly, there is a new OPR map called the Tower. This is just probably the vertical PvP map that I think Genie's already data mined, if I remember correctly. Because they talk about how there's like an underground area, there's jump pads, and like how generally speaking you're fighting top down rather than forward to back. So new OPR map there too. There is a preview coming out pretty soon, and that will be interesting as well. Rip Hardy, it won't be missed. Yeah, pretty much. Sorry, I'm checking ads right now in Discord. Nothing too crazy, okay. Crush, do you have a link to that? What is that tweet from Katie? The other thing too, if you're trying to get like updates on the Discord, assuming you're not banned, just go to the official Discord and type in from New World _K. And she's been like soft leaking stuff because she can do that because she's the boss now. Oh. So they like she talked about how the date was getting moved a bit because it got moved up and then got moved back for some other reason. Show it. Oh, the tweet. This is what Crush sent me. For all those red string theorists out there, check out an interview we did in 2023 with the Mine MMO. Specifically, the answer I gave to the second question got my wish in season 10. Job so bored. You gotta soft leak stuff? Nah, that's how you build hype. That's something that's like one thing AGS is very good at is building hype. And then like historically under delivering, so like I think everybody from all this news is like cautiously optimistic, and then like the whole thing is like is this enough of an end game? I think is a question for some people, because I think everybody would agree at this point that like New World has a pretty good early game, or very good early game compared to other MMOs, in my opinion. A pretty good middle game, and then it didn't really have an end game. And this is the end game. So the question is the end game enough, and will that be enough content? It's in German? I don't know German. Translate full page. Oh, that's a button? Oh, that's so cool. She said the interview though, right? Not this. How do you not know this? I knew it was a thing on mobile. I've never done it on a computer. I You work in tech? I mean, I don't know. I didn't know about that one. I don't have to deal with translating stuff very often. I did it one job. There's a job I did where the engineering team I worked with only spoke Japanese, and we can only communicate through Google Translate, and that was like the weirdest thing I've ever done. But it was really cool, but it was super weird. And then we have like one guy on our team that was like bilingual, so he was basically the dedicated translator. And like every time he'd join meetings, he'd be like talking in Japanese and me talking back to us in English. We'd hope that he was telling the truth. It was kind of great. Um, Here you can watch the complete developer interview. Oh God, I have to find Katie's response to something though. When is Katie actually talking? You link to it? No, crush. Link bad. Search the YouTube transcript. Forgot that's a thing now, isn't it? No, that's not the right button. I don't know where the transcript thing is. I've never used that before. I have only used captions. Wait, is this like near the time where we got the Scott face that we use for all of our thing? Google this. Okay. The Muppet? Yeah, the Muppet. This is 2023. I pushed for us to be scarier. Is that it? Because now there's vampires? It's super boring, by the way. Gigabait tweet. Yeah, it sounds like we just got baited. Or she says, I pushed for us to be scarier. Surely it's not that. Surely there's more, right? Is there like an actual like interview for this? Sh- Surely it's not just that I push for this to be scarier thing, right? The answer I gave to my second question. So this is the first question. Uh, and this introduced a cycle in which I mean this is the season stuff. I mean I don't really know what she's trying to say. I'm not gonna lie. I have been taking a break from New World. Is it better to get back in right now, or is it to wait till a new season? I mean, if I were like a new person and I was starting out, I would try to get to like maybe 710 right now, or like 700 gear score right now, and then when the new season comes out, then just play with it right away. If you start right at the new season, you're gonna have to go through all the old content anyway. And so I think it's better to start now, and then actually progress to the point where you can compete in the new content. Question is, do you actually have any other games to play? There are other games right now. We're looking at the Steam charts earlier. Oh god, I flashbanged myself again. Okay, these are old games. Borderlands 4 is a really good game. It just came out. PoE 2 is good. Hollow Knight just came out. I don't know what Banana is, but apparently everybody's playing Banana. Helldivers 2 is a good game. I mean, there's a good amount of here that are like newer games, and then there's a lot of older games. Hollow Knight's 13, and then the new Hollow Knight's 4. That's really funny. Baldur's Gate 3 apparently is still going strong. That's kind of crazy that Baldur's Gate 3 is still going. Like, that game came out like a year ago, and it had updates, but it wasn't like a ton. But that game has like so much content that I could see people just playing it over and over and over again. GTA is crazy. That's also true that GTA is still up there and it's been out for like 10 years. What if GTA 6 just never comes out? But like, I don't know, the one thing I kind of conclude all this is like, but generally speaking, this is your end game. You want to get stuff with the right weight class, you figure this is somewhat taken care of by like loot biasing. Then you want set bonuses and you want your perks and then you want your charm slots. Like assuming that they're literally just gonna go through gear. You have the one slot here that's like RNGesus right now. They replace this slot with another RNGesus slot and you have two things that randomly roll. Don't say that. The GTA 6 is never gonna come out. It's been leaked to come out like 3 times and just nothing's happened. I think my thing now is like, what gear do I try to get to prep for the new area? Like, I imagine I need something that can do the story relatively well, so I want like something kind of DPS oriented. And then my immediate thought was like, oh, I could just like use a great sword and like not really worry about it too much. Like, I could use Crescent Wave or I can use like Serenity, and like both of these weapons are just like so good in solo play. And I don't really have to think too much. Trenchant Recovery Hammer, Skewer Spear. Yeah, I mean, those are very solid too. The Skewer's Spear is, like, usually the way to go. And then, like, some lifesteal thing. Lost are weak to strike, nature, and ice. Something to consider, perhaps. Time to do the wind chill build. Wind chill GPS. What if I go wind chill tank? Just super cursed. Are you on Valhalla? Yeah, I'm on Valhalla right now. I have to do a B&B. Which I imagine it will hopefully fill eventually with just flex players. It filled with flex players. And hopefully they don't back out of my B&B. If it falls through, I'll join you. Yeah. This is my last thing for the sword. This thing is like so bright. And like there's like a blue like light effect around it too. Like even when it's dark you just see it. It's crazy. Oh, Crash, I did something amazing this weekend. You know the like Steam Deck? Like I figured out how to actually use that for once. So I was like watching football and then at the same time I could play like card games like on my laptop, or not my laptop. I was using like my iPad, like an ancient iPad too. It was great. It's like I've never done that before, but it was so nice. Like normally I have to play the Bazaar on my computer, and that's like a game that like it very easily could be a mobile game and like nobody would tell the difference. I should probably pop mana food. Like, I feel like that would make my life a lot easier. What's up, Essie? We went through a talk about all the new gear and stuff. Which will probably be on the YouTube at some point tomorrow. Probably didn't introduce it amazingly, but hopefully there's a little bit more insight there than what most people are kind of given. Have you tried any emulator games in your Steam Deck or not even considered it? I never tried it before. Like the closest I came to it was like playing Moonlighter when I was traveling. But that's a game that like I didn't know this either, but do you know Netflix has games that you can download if you have a Netflix subscription? I thought that was kind of crazy. But Moonlighter is normally like a game you have to pay like $10 for, but if you have a Netflix subscription, it's completely free. So I like beat that game and I've never beat it before. I saw a site that has thousands of Flash games archive. It's sick. Dude, there's so many good Flash games that I miss. Like one thing I've been like looking at before I go to get bed is like there's some YouTubers that like their entire thing is they just like speed run like Flash games from like back in the day and like make them look like super easy. And it's like, what? It's like there's no way you can do it this fast. Keep needing to like get more mana. This is like getting annoying. Oh, you could heavy cancel to and send a wave out still? I didn't know that. So you can do like that and you can block. Or you can do that and you can switch weapons. That's cool. I don't think I ever played Paradise Strike. I was like, I'd play like Art of War, or like, or not, was it Art of War, or was it Age of War? I think it was called. That was a game I played a lot of. Gotta not die to that, dude. It is so nice for the trash mobs that like the wave cleaves. Like it's actually so good. You got all your armor gates and Congregate accounts. I think Congregate has like a mobile thing, right? Where you can like go through the games. Tower, Castle Defense are the best flash game bangers. I used to play one that was like a dungeon defense, like you would set mobs in there and like stuff would attack you. It was like really fun. It's like before Balloons Tower Defense came out. I think I played like the original Balloons Tower Defense like 1 and 2 for a very long time as well. Now we're on like what, 6? Yeah, I don't do any damage anymore. I need to get rid of my mana. Yeah. I guess most people just drink a mana potion. They probably don't have a VG. Meanwhile, me. Like that cleave right there, like that trash cleanup is so nice. Problem is like once you lose your mana, it's like kind of useless, but it's okay. Oh, it just instant breaks stam too because it's 2 heavy attacks it hits you. I didn't think about that. Hey, it's the dude. Oh wait, that's not the right dude. It was a different dude. Alright, time to see if this works. Does not work. That's so sad, 1 inch more and it works. That, there's a joke there to make. that I will not make on stream. Oh, there is not. Are you leveling an alt or something? Why PvE? I'm getting for the artifact for this greatsword. To complete the upgrade, I have to do a PvE mission. The thing that I'm looking at right now is I'm trying to have like some sort of good tank DPS like hybrid set that I can just change the attributes on and then kind of roll with that in the next season. It'll probably be more tank oriented and probably be heavy so that I can take advantage of loot biasing and generally get gear that's better for my class. miicrow is secretly a PvE enjoyer. Oh, that's something I probably... Huh, I didn't think about that. I wonder how if loot biasing is being kept or not. Because there's a lot of ramifications for loot biasing. Like, if it's super grindy, and then all the gear you can get isn't the gear that you want, that would be, like, kind of bad. Magic Wave Gober. Loot biasing screws you so much as a tank. I mean, yeah, that was like... I hate, like, light tanking because of that. And then you end up, like, having to get, like, a PvE set and a PvP set. Be cool if they, like, gave us an option to choose from. Why is it not letting me reload it while someone's in it? Ow. Toggle on and off. Yeah. No. Done. This is unironically the worst boss in the game. Oh yeah, that actually is. I feel like I always have to do B&B. Like, there's so many quests that end up having to do B&B. But maybe it's just because I get Void Darkblade so much. I love that fight. There's no way. It's just so boring. I feel like it was fun when, like, you would die to things. But, like... when you're over leveled and it's just like you're kind of just sitting there just waiting for the phases, it's like pretty boring. Am I about to wipe our group? Oh, only time will tell. I am not a tank, but I'm tanking. The Snake Guy in Tempest is the best boss fight. Yeah, that one's my favorite too. The elephant and the one that's in reworked First Light is also pretty good. I like that. It's not as fun in a normal one, it's like the mutations, it's like way more fun. Isabella's pretty sick, not gonna lie. I mean, I kind of redid Isabella, and I feel like it's more fun now. She has so many scuffed hitboxes, though. Am I gonna die? I'm not getting healed. Got healed. Guys, I failed to deliver the offering, because I got struck by lightning. So bad. True. And then that cleansed the debuff. Washed. True. Unfortunate. You can't jump with it anymore, right? I didn't just like walk for like no reason. Pretty sure you can't jump anymore. Okay, we're just ignoring. This guy's hitbox is so jank. Like, what am I even getting hit from right now? Ghost tentacles. Basically. Just getting knocked over and over and over again. I have no idea why. It happened again. Just in time for this spooky month? Yes. Maybe we'll get ghost vampires. Oh, we got a friend. He's an alligator. Do I start, like, gathering the alligators right in front of everybody? It's good for morale. Yeah, guys, we can beat this boss. Starts gathering alligators. I dodged it. Let's go. Crush, I'm not washed. I'm the best PvEer ever. As I get hit by this because I'm like walking in front. See if I can do it twice. Nope, not the best PvEer. Oh god, now I have 9 stacks. 10 stacks. And I'm in Greatsword red stance, because I don't care. Success. Can't die unless you want to. Yeah. It's not a hard boss. Did this Greatsword used to be good? I forget. Miicrow, let's pretend like it's an old M10. I don't think I ever did an M10. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I ever went like above like an M5 or M6. Dude, I miss when regular dungeons actually feel like M1s, so they weren't just like super easy because they're like meant for like new players, kind of. Yeah, you don't even learn anything anymore. You just go through it, and then you get to the mutations. It's like, okay, here's the mechanics. Get ready. I remember you doing at least an M8. I did? Okay. I definitely don't remember doing an M10. And complaining a lot. I probably did it at some point. Okay. Well, that's done. Does anybody like ever use Greatsword and Void Gauntlet? Like that's never a thing, right? Because like Greatsword doesn't have like a ton of empowers and Void Gauntlet has access to empowers. Yeah, I think I only did Dynasty and Genesis and that was it. In PvP it'd be so awful. Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about PvE, like tank. Doesn't Greatsword get an empower cap? Oh, it does. I just don't know if it does consistently or not. So you don't want to do some OPRs or something? Otherwise, maybe deadlock angle. Crush play deadlock with miicrow. I have another curse proposition, but then I'd have to like basically show you guys my Steam. We could do like a peak community night. That'd be kind of fun. I don't know if today would be the best day for it, but it'd be kind of fun. The game is a MOBA, you basically PvE for 20 minutes. I definitely don't PvE for 20 minutes. If you're a carry, you PvE for 20 minutes. Like, if you're playing far left lane or far right lane, yeah, you actually just PvE for 20 minutes. But the roles I play, I'm, like, active. If we did that, we definitely would need a plan for it. Yeah. Are you banned? I wouldn't trust someone to see people on the VCN stream. Oh, it would probably go poorly, but it'd be really funny. Surely we could trust like 4 or 5 people. Imagine playing like Peak with Whirlwhip. That'd be so funny. You turn on cannibalism and you just eat Whirl. It'd go deaf. It'd be so funny though. 10 seconds into the game turns into a 2010 COD lobby. It totally would. Cannibalism enabled. It's over. There's like a mod where you could have like lots more people playing at the same time, so not like the standard 4. You just have one of those lobbies, turn on cannibalism, see who makes it to the top. I think I already know the answer to this, but does anybody actually queue CTF? Some creatures like it? Okay. I feel bad because they made the mode, and I think it's a pretty fun mode, but I queue OPR because the queue pops faster usually. Like I do not care. Miicrow rate the fit. It's like the most New World fit I've ever seen. Like, I feel like you belong in like a New World trailer, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's like the OG Covenant look. Yeah. But it's like died, right? Meanwhile, I've just got some random skin on. Can also just go eyes. Oh yeah, from back in the day when everybody would just run to Isabella eyes. It's kind of funny. What build are you playing tonight? For the OPR, I'm playing Flail VG. This is like my for fun build that I really enjoy. Flail VG is like a build that isn't that great in war, but is incredibly fun in like small to mid scale. In large scale, it's a build that like if you look at like can just fall over. Kind of similar to Crescent Wave, where Crescent Wave is like a build that has like a lot of carry potential, but if it gets looked at, it can kind of just die. But general gear, it's just defensive perks. Like this has Ice Tomb or Healing Tomb on there. I don't use Healing Tomb. It's just like I have it from a different set. Do I have a perk that doesn't have Healing Tomb for chest? I don't think I do. Because Vital Synergy is like super expensive. Or was super expensive when I got it. So I just got like one piece. Every stream you do is in the group, and literally don't know what voice is yours. Crush's voice is the one that sounds like he just woke up from like a nap. Yeah, I'm either asleep or screaming, very little in between. My god, why is the OPR queue longer than my deadlock queues? Did I have shadows on? Huh? These default to high again. No, they're on low. Oh, there's no way to turn shadows off? New to New World, are the OPR 3v3 builds completely different than war builds? They are. I would argue that, like, you don't really need a BIS build to do well in OPR 3v3. 3v3 tends to be pretty specific. I would agree in terms of optimized stuff, but, like, I went into 3v3 earlier with literally the same setup, and we won every game, and it was not close. Like, was it because I did a lot? Kind of. Like, this build has access to so many staggers that it just prevented any healer from playing the game. We just instant won. Then he fought AI. I mean, yeah, but that's most 3v3s. Like, I don't know. I don't competitively do 3v3. Like, I don't think anyone competitively does 3v3 or anything like that. Why is the OPR queue this long? This is actually kind of ridiculous. It's the normal queue. Do you guys sit through this? I'm not gonna lie, if I have wait for like a 2-3 minute queue, I instantly just go to a different game. I guess my issue with Overwatch now is like, when I was like semi-pro Overwatch player or whatever, like I played support, and like the queues for support were like 10 to 15 minutes. And it was like just extremely painful. And then I went back to it and I was like, I can't wait for 10 to 15 minutes. I started playing tank. Like tank queues are like literally instant. But tank is like so much less fun. Could have made it past the laning phase in a deadlock match already. Seriously. I feel like my lanes are either over instantly or they take like 15 minutes now and there's basically no between. It also depends what character I'm playing though. Like if I'm playing Page, I usually play to just like slowly like not lose lane, if that makes sense. Like I don't really try to win it. So I'm just playing to like stall and like kind of freeze the opponents, and then my lane just doesn't get taken for like 20 minutes. But then when I'm playing like Kelvin, I usually play to win fast, and it only takes like a few minutes to win the wave or win the lane. As someone who's new to the scene, what are your 3 builds you'd suggest for OPR and War? I mean, for all of them, healer is good. Generally speaking, quote-unquote creature builds are pretty good, and then like fire staff is generally solid for new players. Like creature builds are just kind of weird, quirky ones. The one that I would like say is like pretty fun to play right now and is not super balanced is probably Void Blade. So like fire staff is really good. Void Gauntlet's really good. Life Staff's really good. Oh, I need to like actually change like this stuff too. Oops. We almost showed up with like nothing equipped. Yeah, like the Illicit Crush set is also like pretty valid. Bow Spear, go that route. Please don't go Bow Spear. I think I'm gonna die in mid now because of use Edge. Nah, you'll be fine. We'll be there in time.
Wow, there's a lot of great swords. And they kind of hurt. And they just kind of stand here and just hit random buttons. So my build is a utility build. Its goal is basically to exist, heal people up a little bit, and apply a bunch of weakens everywhere. And a little bit in powers. So it's like a kind of a stat stick. With some utility in terms of like trying to finish kills. So if someone gets really low, I could use an ability and finish them off. But usually it's just like rotate cooldowns, spam abilities, and don't really think too much. So like that guy was like really low, so I used an ability. He used a pot, so he's an animation, and I cancel it with a trip, and he just dies. And Oblivion strips all the buffs, and the sword, that will slow people down and put a rend on them. So it's just like a utility class. It's pretty chill. If I want to give more utility to my team, I'll put on a shield that gives more utility, and if I want to be more offensive, I usually use this one. Like the big clump fights where nothing dies. Crush, can we just win this fight real quick and just go on the healer? Alright. That fight should be won. First one I might want to leave. Unless our team like somehow lost it still. Why are we all fighting a tank? Okay. I'll put disease on the tank, I guess, but like I don't want to be fighting the tank. Is that a great sword flail? That's a creative build. Oh, did not mean to hit that button. I didn't do that properly. I feel like this is a relentless OPR for sure. Like it's so clumpy. Do I need to heal? I don't think I do. I'm kind of just existing and Crush is killing people. Get back here. Surely the healer's dead, right? He's not dead. Now he's dead. Alright, you gotta save mid. The cool thing about like the little purple aura is it applies a weaken and a lifesteal. So it's just really good for keeping your team alive because it prevents the other team from doing damage. And then helps your team live more. So it's like good if you don't have good healers too. That was a huge disease. So their healer's over here. I'm gonna go disrupt their healer a little bit. As I missed that. Why is my FPS is so low? Like 40 FPS. Okay, we lost this. I'm gonna back up. Go to team. I want to see if I could switch to Relentless, because I think Relentless would be better right now. Alright, there we go. The downside is I am a lot squishier. The plus side is my team is less likely to die. There's so many bruisers in this OPR, it's amazing the lack of snipers in these clump fights. Yeah, there's a good amount. I kind of like it, but I like the clumpy ones. Oh, we got blast shotted. So now I just put an artifact on that makes myself squishier, but then my teammates are tankier. So I don't want to really be frontlining as much anymore and be playing in the back, which is why you see me playing like more conservative than I was before. Because I want to maximize his armor aura for my allies. Still helping people take space, so like if Crush is in and this guy's in, I'm going to go in, but I'm not going to be like leading the charge, so to speak. So like those guys are getting hit, I'm going to put the armor aura up. Dropping Oblivion, stripping powers. Is that their brute? I think it is. So there's like 5 people in here that are on our team. So we're still okay to exist for now. Lost one. New World's always struggled with the spell clusterfuck. Yeah. I think any game that just has a lot of characters struggles with that. It's more viewable than some games, but it's definitely hard to like tell what's going on. Crush just went for the back line. I'm like guessing what people would be because the FPS is so bad. I told you guys I was debating like upgrading my computer, and this definitely makes me think I want to do it. Or we have no team. Well, we did at one point. It's not your PC. I see some people have like, you know, like 100+ FPS. Well, surely if I upgraded it, I can get more than this. I feel like every game is terribly optimized now, though. This map was so good for like the first 2 betas. That person just needed to like chill and like actually heal themselves, and they probably would have been fine.
I'm exploding even with your 35% armor. Kick. I mean, you're like 1v10. Like, I could shift over to, like, Pure Tank and he'd probably live, but that would be the only way. Which I guess I can do. Alright, so I changed roles. Now I'm Pure Tank. With terrible stat line, but I'll make it work. Did not mean to hit buttons in that order. These are in the wrong order for me. It's messing up all my muscle memory. I usually put the flail on 2. Did I just sit on point? Yeah, it's messing with the muscle memory and putting abilities in the wrong order. You bought an X3D a couple of days ago. Is New World worth playing again? You would have more FPS than me. I think New World Season 10 is very, very good. I think New World right now is like, the foundation's there, but it's not quite there yet. Season 9 was kind of like a PvP season, and then Season 10's like PvE, new content, new gear. And I think that's definitely worth exploring, but so like, if I were you, I'd probably get prepped for Season 10 and get like a 700 gear score set or something like that you're ready to kind of go with and just see how it works out. We don't have a single healer in here. There's a heal. There we go, now we're winning. You just gotta stand there, hold the right click, and magically people start winning. It's a crazy concept, but it's whatever. I've had a few wars recently where I literally just sit by healers and just shield them, and then they just don't die at anything, and it just works like way better than it should. Build. All of those, I don't think any, is there a way to even set up YouTube commands? I've never figured that out, but at one point I had a build section for Twitch and it kind of fell out of date. But I can go over the perks and stuff. My stats are completely messed up right now, because I switched them back, but the general build is fine, and stats don't matter too much. I'll install New World just for FPS testing. Yeah, I was thinking about getting that same CPU too. Let me know how it feels, because it's mostly a CPU dependent game still. Couldn't keep them alive. Fun trick. The shield aura goes through walls, so you could just sit at the other side of the wall and keep your aura up. And then everybody that's in that fight over there is tanky. Which is why no one on my team is dying. Last launch, March 2024. Been a minute? Jeez. Yeah, I'm curious what your gear score's at. The main thing is you just want like a set that's above 700 gear score and you're fine. But you don't have to do much more to prep outside of that if you don't want to. The rest is just like getting monies.
Gotta help my backline real quick. Yeah, my backline's gone. Oh, there's another tank here. Okay, you can sit here. If you want to help them, you can help them. I'll sit over here. They have a few people that are just going for our healers. Which the weakness of this build is the damage mitigation that you give as a tank is like in a relatively small aura. So you have to be pretty close to the people you're trying to protect. And if the healers are not with me, then I can't protect them. So it's just a little sketchy. I feel like once I'm like here and I'm surrounded by red people, the red people are doing no damage. Giant fight, no one dying. Zenberg, are you still with Kool-Aid? The Kool-Aid disband like they actually said they would? Sorry, Twitch brain, is it in Discord? The Twitch? The Twitch is, I mean, the build, there's builds in the Discord, they're just old. I mean, they're gonna be the same ones that you get from the link. But I could show you the actual build if we get a second. It's just health, invig. Invig I like a lot because it helps me just, like, keep debuffs off my bar, it helps me live. And some conditionings for the most part. So just lots of defensive perks is basically what it is. And then this is sometimes I use the IG, and then Onk, Gorgon, Earring. Okay, I went AFK for a second, my entire team died. That's cool. Not allowed to go AFK apparently. Bum. His name is Crab Picker. I think he's like a professional dude that just like puts crab traps in the open. It's like a interesting name. It feels like an AI name. Benjamin Slays. That guy 51. That's a fun one. Toxic Cut. No, I just realized there's another tank here this whole time. I probably shouldn't be stacking auras. Crush, I'm bored. Standing here holding right click. Need to go back to Flail VG. But every time I don't do anything, we just die. What if we just stand on point instead of fighting out here? Is that a crazy thought? What if I... Oh my god, there are people over here. Abort! Abort! There's no heals on the point. I'm fighting out in a spot that doesn't matter.
crush, alright. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. There's a keg. It did not work. Well, I scared the healer off, so it kind of worked. But it doesn't look like we really killed anybody. So like a lot of people like to just like smack each other, and it's kind of fun just to smack each other, but if you want to be like efficient about it, you kind of have to smack the healer. That's what we're doing here. If we push the healer back, they don't get healed over there, and then we just naturally start winning space. And that's what they're doing on our inside, right? They're just like killing our healers. Ow. Ooh, we got blast shotted. I got a heal here, it'd be kind of cool. Never got a heal. But you can see how long it takes them to kill me even without a heal. I forgot they changed the respawns to be like on a wave system in OPR. It used to be like 5 seconds. Oh god, we capped Baron, so we're stuck here for longer. No. This bridge is why I love Yeet. Oh yeah, it's great for that thing. I feel like we're like actually winning again. My gosh, we have so many bows. Boosts are heavy attacking. Gonna do a tactic called stand inside the doorway and watch people hit you. Gonna back up a little. Alright, Crush, I don't know if I'm doing another OPR. That was so boring. You went 24 and 3? It's pretty good. I imagine I did not go 24 and 3. Next highest on our kills is 9. Yeah, it checks out. I had more assists than you, though. Had the most assists. I don't understand the set bonuses part. Do you have an idea about it? Yeah, so it's like if you have a certain amount of equipment that is within a set, you gain a bonus. So like, let's have one really basic for like healers. Say that I have 2 pieces of a healing set, and then that healing set increases my healing output by 10%. Like that could be a set bonus. Like they're gonna be more complicated than that, and they're gonna be like way more fun than that. But like that would be an idea of one, right? The PvE content might have actually been more fun than the OBR. I'm not gonna lie. miicrow, please read and suffer with me. Had 3.5 million damage. Next highest in the whole game was 2.1 mil, and it was on their team. Oh, so you had like 50% more damage than anyone else in the lobby or something stupid. Nice. And you still lost. I knew Crush was a patter. Play a build that no one plays, Keck. Yep. You'll get your BB buff one day, Crush. Today is not that day. But hey, think about like with the new perk system, you can go like double attunement. They can't buff it unless they kill aim lock. It's getting buffed if they're gonna do the charms like they're saying they're doing the charms. Gearing will be cool in the next season. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool and really complicated. It's gonna be really fun. Just hope we get aim lock on from PvP soon too. That would be helpful. See, I've got a meeting in half an hour. Haven't eaten dinner yet. This might be a good time to start wrapping up. Unless anyone has any last second questions about the article that we went over today. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna start packing up here. This thing. It's 10:42. What the fuck? Oh, I've got a work meeting in like half an hour or in 45 minutes. So I've got to do a little prep work for it. Will you carry me through the procedural dungeons? I want to do those to more people. I mean, it's only 3 people. I need to like actually make like a DPS tank hybrid build, so that will be kind of interesting. I don't really know what I want to do for that yet. Immediate thought is like Great Sword blue stance. There was one mention of Lost, and now the Lost trophies are 35k. Yep. GG. All right. I think I'm gonna call it there. Let me see. Is Dim playing? Dim is playing. Promised Dim that I would do stuff with her. Let me add a season 10 command. Oh yeah, could you? I mean, I think you could do that once I raid, right? Like it's fine either way. But Dim is doing the raid. The raid is probably more fun to watch than the PvP stuff that we're doing. I'm not gonna lie. But it's pretty simple. All right. Night, everybody.